All right, today we are going to tackle what is, let's be honest, one of the trickiest parts of learning Russian, those verbs of motion.
And hey, if you've ever felt totally lost with these, you are definitely not alone. It's a classic sticking point for pretty much everyone. But trust me, stick with me for the next few minutes because it's all about to get a whole lot clearer. So, what's the big secret? It honestly all boils down to one simple idea. Are we talking about a single one-way trip? Or is it a round trip, a habit, something you do over and over? Once you can answer that one question, I promise, the rest just falls right into place. Okay, so let's start with the basics. How do we talk about moving on foot? Well, Russian gives us two main verbs for this.
So, for that one-way trip, we have the verb идти. Let that sink in, идти. And for that back and forth habitual movement, we've got ходить. Say it with me, ходить. So, okay, what's the real difference between these two? Think of идти as your point A to point B verb. It's for one single specific journey that's happening right now. You know, like if you're on the phone and you say, I am walking to the park right this second. That's идти. Now, ходить, well, that's for pretty much everything else. Is it a habit, something you do all the time, like I walk to school every day? Is it a round trip, or even just talking about the general ability to walk? Yep, for all of those, ходить is the one you want. Perfect. You've got the logic down for walking. And you know what the best part is? This exact same logic, it applies when we start using transportation, like a car, a bus, you name it.
The logic is exactly the same, we just swap in a new pair of verbs. So for that one single trip using a vehicle, we use ехать. Give it a try, ехать. And for those repeated trips or just travel in general, it's ездить. You hear it? Ездить. See? It's the exact same pattern, one trip versus many.
Okay, that's enough theory for now. Let's actually see these verbs in action. It makes a lot more sense when you see them in real sentences.
All right, let's start with this one. I'll say it slowly. Я иду в школу.
So why do we use idu here? Because it's happening right now. This is about one specific trip to school. I'm on my way at this very moment.
Okay, now watch this. Let's look at a very similar sentence, but we'll just change the verb. Listen close. Я хожу в школу.
See that? Just by changing to хожу, the whole meaning shifts. This isn't about one trip anymore. This tells us it's a habit, it's my routine. I go to school regularly, maybe every day. Okay, let's switch gears to our transport verbs. Same logic. Here's our first example. Я еду в Москву. And just like idu told us we were walking now, еду tells us we're traveling by vehicle now. I'm on the train, in the car, on my way to Moscow for this one specific trip.
And you can probably guess what's coming next. Here's its multidirectional partner. Я езжу в Москву.
Right away, that verb езжу tells us this is not a one-time thing. This is a regular trip. Maybe I travel to Moscow every single month for work. It's a habit, a repeated action. All right, I've got one more example for you, and this one shows another really important use for these verbs. Listen. Он умеет ездить на машине. Now notice something here. We're not talking about a specific trip at all, are we? We're talking about a general skill. And here's a huge takeaway for you. Whenever you're describing the general ability to do something, like being able to drive or swim or fly, you are always going to use the multidirectional verb. Okay, you have seen the theory, you've seen the examples. Now it is your turn. Let's put this new knowledge to the test. You ready for this? All right, first question. I go to work every day. Think about it. That phrase, every day, is that a one-time thing or a habit? So would you use идти or would you use ходить? Okay, next one. I'm going to the store now. The magic word here is now. Is that a single trip happening this instant or is it part of a routine? And for a last little challenge, let's use transport. We travel to Europe often. That word often, does that sound more like a one-way trip, ехать, or a repeated action, ездить? Have a think, and don't worry, I've put all the answers for you in the description below. You did it! Seriously, fantastic work today. You have just navigated one of the absolute toughest parts of Russian grammar. And by just remembering that one simple idea, one trip versus round trip, you've unlocked a skill that is going to help you so much.
So, you've totally mastered the direction of the motion. But what happens when we need to talk about whether that motion was actually completed or not? Well, that, my friends, brings us to the next giant frontier of Russian verbs, aspect. And we'll tackle that beast in our next explainer. Thanks so much for joining me.